was almost a shocking surprise. I wasn't alerted that I was going to make remarks here this morning. The governor is ably represented here by his commissioner. I just came in my own personal capacity as a citizen of Edo State, appreciating and valuing an institution, an indigenous institution that has weathered the storms of development challenges in a tough country like ours, and has succeeded in standing strong and still standing and being counted amongst existing and successful broadcasting houses in Nigeria, and being an Edo-owned broadcasting association. I was very delighted and happy when I was invited to come. I very gladly said I would show up to register my support, to congratulate our chairman emeritus, Sir Chief Dr. Gabriel Igbenedion, his family, and the ITV family for doing Edo State proud, doing Edo people proud, and keeping this 25-year-old broadcasting station going. Many rose and fell and disappeared into oblivion, but it's highly commendable to find in these days and times when you find corporations or organizations or any profit-oriented enterprise that is still going, and not just going, but improving and getting better, planning for the future, and gearing up, to meet up with the digital challenges of our emerging digital world. It's one that deserves high commendation and all the support of the institutions and people of our state. Because wherever I go, I always say that Edo, which is called the heartbeat of the nation, there's something about that. It's not ordinary and it is not common. And there's a strong and important role that Edo State has to play in the emergence of the new Nigeria that we all are dreaming of and hoping for and struggling and striving to see birthed. And so when you see good things happen in our states, we shouldn't pull down. We should support, strengthen, and uphold. It is all for our common good, and it is all for the good of our country. Any well-meaning citizen of this country will strive to support anything good that will do our country good and make Nigeria the great nation that God intends for it to be. Nigeria is too endowed, and there's so much that's been expected of this country for us to sit back and allow it to keep going down. We must all do our best to uphold our country, to do whatever we need to do to make this country great. This country is destined for greatness, not just in Africa, but in the world. And my call here is to all well-meaning Nigerians. You forget about politics, all of the petty politicking and all of the funny things you see happening in our country that will not do our country good. We must all rise up and strive to be patriotic Nigerians to support the development and growth of our nation in our small corners, so that we'll have a country that we're all proud of, a country that we will not be running away from, one that, as we seek to go to other countries, other nationals will be seeking to come to Nigeria. And I believe it is bound to happen, whether we believe it or not. Things don't seem like Nigeria will be great, but I assure you, Nigeria is heading for greatness. And let's believe that, and let's support everything that is good. And that greatness, Edo, is going to be very relevant. And so we must take whatever we do here very seriously and support one another, because we want to see a country that we're all proud of and we all want to remain in. So my remarks today is to congratulate again the international television, ITV station, and the family of the investors, the great Igbinedion family, and to personally congratulate my in-law, who happens to be the new general manager, managing director. So I'm here also to support my own and to encourage you. You're doing well. You've started well. So keep your eyes on the ball and continue to do what is right. You have the right idea of putting people first in life. People must come first in any and everything we do. The people that God has placed around us that we oversee, we must put them first. Because like you say, when your people are happy, then they'll give you a good product. They give you what you want, and then you'll make money, more money. That's the way it works. Also always look at the bigger picture, and you have your goal sets nationally, so do not be pulled down to operate like a local champion. Take the institution above and let it go. Let the reach be across Nigeria. Keep your eyes on the ball, and also strive to, as you're building other infrastructure, make sure that your content is world class. Always uphold the tenets of journalism and report truth all the time. They say truth will always stand the test of time. Do not be drawn into all of the madness we see in our space of fake news and malicious news and all of that. Strive for excellence, strive for uprightness, truth, integrity, and that will keep the station going for decades to come. So congratulations again, and my warm greetings to, sorry I just started talking without acknowledging, doing the usual protocol, but that's been well established. So I greet the elders in the house, government functionaries, the board members, board and staff of ITV, and our royal fathers here, big chiefs and captains of industry, and the big politicians here, our lovely women, and let me especially greet our big pioneer politician, Madam Franca Feboa, who's been honored today. I congratulate you, Ma, and congratulate all of the awardees. And I want to thank ITV for being a he for she and recognizing Madam Feboa, as the government had done earlier on a few years ago. We must always recognize and honor our own. And the fact that you're doing it while they're still alive is highly commendable. Let's do more of this. This woman, Madam Feboa, is a woman that we Edo people ought to be proud of and not to forget, because she was the first female senator, black senator in the world, by the way, not just in Nigeria. First female black elected senator in the whole wide world. So you see how we as a country, we have a way of making, international news, and we just get sucked into all of the funny things that happen in our country and forget to celebrate and honor, those who need to be honored. We forget to appreciate what we have, what other nations appreciate. So we must begin to do that and continue to do that. And God will bless us all. Thank you also very much. Congratulations, and have a glorious celebration.
Let's put our hands together for Her Excellency, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, First Lady Edo State. That speech had a lot of swag. That speech had a lot of content. Spontaneous speech, unscripted, and she was just flowing flawlessly, excellently. Please celebrate our First Lady one more time. There are so many women here that are not clapping. And when we say in several instances that women are their own enemies, they say, what are you talking about? Women, clap for your co-woman. Anyway, that's on the lighter side. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. In that same atmosphere, let me invite the representative of Edo State Governor, His Excellency Godwin Nogegase Obaseki, represented by the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Barrister Adaze Andrew Evanta. Please put your hands together for him. Keep clapping until he gets here. Keep clapping until he gets here.
Thank you. Our Excellency, the First Lady of Edo State, Betsy Obaseki, and the mother of the state, the Honorable Commissioner for Youth and Humanitarian Affairs, my brother, Chris Naikari, the Honorable Commissioner for Arts, Culture, and Diaspora Affairs, Honorable Dele Obaiton, Sir Chief Gabriel Igbenedion, the Isama of Benin, the Romanian Consul to Edo and Delta, and Emeritus Chairman of ITV, ably represented by Honorable Charles Igbenedion, the Chairman and other board members of ITV, Engineer Levis Obaseki, the Digital Managing Director of ITV, our guest lecturers, distinguished awardees, our mother, as the First Lady rightly noted, the very first female black senator, Senator Franca Afegba. Please, she deserves a round of applause. Permit me to stand on the already established protocol. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Edo State, would have been here in person, but due to some exigencies of state, that's why he's not here physically present. And I think he has been well represented since this event started, having our Excellency here, and me just a representative of the governor. He sends his goodwill and is very grateful that the ITV has extended this invitation to attend the 25th anniversary of ITV. It's a very beautiful history if one remembers how ITV started. I know the journey must have started in '93 when the license was issued, but I remember with nostalgia the fact that along Benin Technical Road, we had this IBW satellite facility. Through that facility, we got free-to-air channels during the time we had military dictatorship in Nigeria. And during that time, we had just that particular facility and NTA. Funny enough, that facility, you could watch TV early in the morning, but you have to wait to about 4 before you could watch NTA, or what we used to call BBS, which later became EBS. So when you look at the 25 years, it has been 25 years of good reportage. ITV has maintained the finest of traditions. You discover that as a state government, they keep us on our toes. Whenever as commissioner I hear that you have an ITV reporter, I know there's something very topical they want to discuss. So if you ask me, the Niger Delta, we have just 2 private stations, ITV and the others. And we are very proud of that. And you know one beautiful thing about our industry, the broadcast industry, you talk of the 3 first stations or the 3 leading private TV stations, channels, AIT, and ITV. The owners of these 3 big TV stations are Edo people. So there's no better way to make Edo great again, which is a campaign manifesto of this present government. And that is why as a government, the governor has made it a priority to put all the infrastructures right, starting with power. I give you an example. We have had this power problem for a very long time, until the governor recently approved having access to our Osiomo power. As we speak in the Nigerian Observer, we have uninterrupted power supply. And I think it's one area ITV can take advantage of, so that reduces your cost. There's no state in Nigeria where you can be sure of guaranteed power outside of those states. And I think the governor deserves a round of applause for that. Because there's no development you can do without electricity. Not just electricity, but constant electricity. And apart from that, you will agree with me that at night, when you move around Benin City, Benin now wears a new look. This is not diesel powered, but gas powered and uninterrupted. And I know people now have value for the taxes they pay. And more will come. And that is the message the governor has asked me to pass. That as a government, we want to continue to encourage private investment. When Esama started off, he was the first in everything he did. And that is the Edo spirit. The first private airline owner, the one that got the first license to run a private university, and ITV is one of the many firsts he has recorded. Just as the managing director noted, there's this new policy, this digital switchover policy. And I'm glad to watch EBS and ITV on GoTV, so that we're already part of that policy which starts off in June. And we'll continue to leverage on that. So just to reassure the management of ITV and our father, the Isama of Benin, as the state government, will continue to support him, because from the record since 1997, the Edo state government is the #1 client of ITV. Others have come and gone, but we have remained constant as a Northern Star. And that is the message from the governor. We will continue to work with you. We are very grateful to God that you have done 25 years. And in the next 25 years, we'll witness a transition. We want you to get to where CNN is. We want you to get to where Fox is, where BBC is. And it is very possible. Because it is the Edo dream to make Edo great again. It's collective. And I'm happy that ITV is blazing the trail. Thank you.
Let's give a standing ovation as we put our hands together as well for His Excellency Governor of Edo State, ably represented by Barrister Adaze Andrew Evanta. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. We'll take a snatch of music and then we'll have our first lecture for today. I know that we've all come here to celebrate, but beyond the celebration, it's important that you take something very, very important out of this meeting. And we have here two very outstanding scholars that will be doing justice to the lectures. But before we bring the first lecture on, let me quickly acknowledge one of our host communities. Please put your hands together for the Ojonwe, the elders, and the people of Ohun community. Let's put our hands together for them. We'd like to quickly recognize very Reverend Father Mike Oyanofo, Chancellor, Catholic Diocese of Benin, representing Archbishop Most Reverend Dr. Augustine Obiora Akubeze, Archbishop Benin Metropolitan See. Can we put our hands together for him? The Zonal Commander, Assistant Corps Marshal Andrew A. Kumapai, we thank you for your presence. Is ably represented by the Deputy Corps Commander Olu James. We thank you for your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to one of the most critical points of this ceremony, which is the 25th anniversary lecture. And that lecture will be delivered by the former Director General of the NBC, Barrister Emeka Umba. Please, I'd like to invite my colleague who will be doing the citation, the Manager News and Current Affairs, ITV Radio, Mr. Egosa Bolaho. But before Egosa comes, let's welcome our guest speaker first, Barrister Emeka Umba. Please put your hands together for him. Keep clapping until he gets here.
Oh Lord!
Thank you, Adija Amando. Thank you. So Egosa Bolaho will do the citation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Citation on Mr. Emeka Nkem Umba. Mr. Emeka Nkem Umba is an erudite scholar who currently heads Questec Media, a specialized media and entertainment consulting practice. He has more than 32 years experience in the converged fields of media, entertainment and technology, as well as regulatory policy management. He is considered by many of his peers as a leading visionary and thinker on the role of government policy and technology in shaping the trajectory and growth of the sector and its impact on social and economic development. Emeka served for 3 years as Director General, CEO of the National Broadcasting Commission, NBC, Nigeria's broadcasting regulator, where he worked to reshape the NBC and raise funding for the analog to digital television transition. In 2015, Emeka Nkem Umba was awarded the African Regulator of the Year for his groundbreaking work in the sector. Prior to his appointment as DG Embassy, Emeka also served 2 terms as the Director General of the National Film Video Census Board, the federal government agency responsible for regulating films and video works distribution and exhibition in Nigeria. He also worked at MultiChoice Nigeria as head of content and later head regulatory affairs. It is on record, ladies and gentlemen, that our guest speaker today, Emeka, was instrumental to the launch of the continent's most watched TV channel, African Magic, on DSTV. I introduce to you Mr. Emeka Nkem Umba, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Your Excellencies, the Governor of Edo State, ably represented by my friend, the Commissioner of Information, Your Excellency, the First Lady of Edo State, the Chairman Emeritus of ITV Radio, the board and the management of this institution that we've come to celebrate, my co-speaker, the rest, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I have 20 minutes to try and speak on the digital transition and the future of broadcasting in Nigeria. But first, let me start by saying that I'm deeply honored to be invited to be here today to share my thoughts and opinions about our industry, an industry that I've been part of for the last 32 years or thereabout. I remember speaking specifically about ITV. I remember many years ago when I worked in MultiChoice, and I had the pleasure of coming to Benin at the very early age of ITV, and working with my brothers in the MBC that I will later work with. I had very many instances of cooperation between, and even when I became the DG, I remember Mr. Ogbede invited me to come here several times, and I had the opportunity of interacting with the Asama himself and meeting with the crew and the management of this very illustrious establishment. So it gives me great honor and privilege to be part of this 25-year celebration today. I will say that to start, I think it's important that we understand a little bit of the back story of broadcasting, of media. And I think that we all know, I think the commissioner spoke about how, in the days before, NTA used to start at 4 and close with the national anthem at midnight. But even before then, before all the formal media, we as Africans used to sit around fires and listen to the story of the the very witty tortoise and his very cunning ways. And that was the very early beginning of the storytelling and the tradition of media that we've all come to accustom today. So today we sit around our television sets, we carry around portable radio sets, the radio in our cars, and increasingly our mobile devices have become the must-have device for media consumption. In reality, for all of us who sit here, broadcasting and the general content business is really, in my own estimation, is in the middle of an incredible technological vortex. A vortex that's driven, or that's caused by what I like to call the digital tailwind of technical or technological progress. Today we're all witnesses, and if you have a smartphone in your pocket or in your hands, we're witnesses to the fact that the idea of TV box, the TV we used to have in our home, TV has now lives beyond it. That box no longer defines what we know as television, because we can sit here on our phones and have access to television. So the idea, and so when people talk about I saw it on TV, they're not speaking of seeing it in the box. They could be speaking of seeing it whilst they're in a kabu somewhere on a mobile phone. They could be speaking of seeing it on Facebook. They could be talking about seeing it on an iPad, or even on the way in traffic on a giant screen. So the concept of television has moved beyond a box. And I think that concept is fundamental to understanding, and for you, as my friend Elvis, who's now heading ITV, as he struggles to shape the trajectory of where ITV is going over the next few years, to understand that television has moved beyond this box. Television has moved, and television, the concept of television, will continue to move. And I'd like to share with you a few reasons why this is happening, and what, when we were at the NBC, what we tried to do, and the challenges, and also to shape your mind. And I'll sort of end this lecture by saying, what are the things that, given all these changes that's happening in the industry, not just in Nigeria, but across the world, what should traditional media platforms do to prepare themselves for the challenges of the next 5 years, 10 years, 25 years? And even to think of the concept of 25 years is too far in my head. I would really like for you to look at it from the first 2 to 3 years, because as we speak, a lot of things are happening. And one of the things that's happening is that a lot of the content we get today is coming over what we call over-the-top services, your OTT services. And this is coming via broadband, not using the traditional, what we call in traditional broadcasting, the Hertzian spectrum, your channel 24, 35. It's coming over a network that's either MTN, your subscriber to digital broadband, or something like that. So, and it's going, this phenomena is not going to stop. Actually, it will accelerate. As more and more people have access to broadband, the concept, and imagine one way to look at it is how in the old days we all had this phone, we had to ring, and call. It required a physical presence, it required you to pick it up physically. But mobile phones came and broke the barrier, the physical barrier. And not just that mobile phones and broke the physical barriers, but also important that the age of iPhone with internet embedded in our phones broke another barrier. We became glued and tied to our cell phones. That our cell phones now can do more things for us. You can do banking, you can vote, you can do all sorts of things. And that mindset is important. And I'll tell you why. Because for those of us who are stuck on the idea of Hertzian spectrum as the only means to distribute television, when we're living in a world where a lot more people are accessing what we call television outside of this traditional mode of delivery, that tells you, or should tell you indeed, that you need to prepare yourself for this future. Okay? And that the people you're competing with, it's no longer ITV versus AIT versus channels. It also includes people on Instagram making skits. It also includes Twitter. It also includes Facebook. It also includes anyone with the ability to make a video on his or her phone and can share and distribute that information. So you find that without, give an example of someone like Linda in KG, without having access to traditional television, from 2012 to about 2016, 17, she became the #1 source of, you might call it whatever, you might characterize the information on her website as something else, but she became the #1 source of information to a lot of people. Okay, so she bypassed the traditional mode of how we receive information. You know, we sit here in this room, you hear our national broadcaster NTA saying we reach 30 million people. Okay, but in the real sense, in today's sense, how many people do they reach? And how many people are sticking to that reach? So, Mr. Elvis and your team, it's important to interrogate that mindset. And I'll talk a little bit about that before I close this presentation. You do not see technology in itself as simply, or see digital as really changing a transmitter to go digital. I often talk about that. It is not, because you can do that until you also look at it from you require what I call a digital mindset. And in understanding that digital mindset, also understand that digital is not a light switch. It is not something, someone asked me this morning, is it a process or is it a thing you get to? Is it a destination? Would you say you have gone digital? That's it? No, it is not. It is actually that you have, the way I describe it is that to go digital means that you have now standing on the ability to be everywhere and to deliver content to anybody on a variety of platforms. Okay? But the sum of it, how do you get there? And I love the fact of what you said, to start with the people, to empower the people, that they have the right tools, they have the right mindset. Because without it, the whole concept of, if you like, put your latest Gates digital transmitter with latest digital transmission equipment in the studio, it means absolutely nothing unless the people understand what it is and they have the tools and the processes to feed into digital. Because the reality is, digital and internet has changed everything. When we talk about digital disruption, as I said earlier, in the old days, it was ITV versus NTA versus this. These days, it's not. Understand that Coca-Cola has a show called Coke Studio that is shot in Lagos and Nairobi. Understand that Red Bull, the company that makes your energy drink, has one of probably the most watched YouTube channels. Okay? So if you live in that world, that the people, if you limit yourself to simply looking at NT as your competition, as what's that famous musician said, you're on a long thing. You're making a huge mistake. Okay? So what is really at the center of this? And I'll tell you why. This is what's going on around the world. You have, again, I'm sure you begin to see it, the deals being done by MTN and UDX Music. Facebook is creating content. If I ask you now, there's Netflix that's just took a bunch of our celebrities to South Africa to celebrate a new show. There are people who are outside of our traditional realm of what broadcasting is that are in your business. So the question will be, how do you prepare yourself for this future? Because this future has gone outside of the boundaries, outside of the traditional box, the notion of broadcasting. And let me tell you what are the fundamentals. From a regulatory perspective, because I can't leave here without telling you a little bit about, from a regulatory perspective. What's happening is that the content players, the people who are creating content, now have new routes, new access to markets. They don't need to come to ITV. If I have a good show, do I need to come to ITV to put my show on? No. I'll put it on YouTube. I'll put it on WhatsApp and share it with my friends. And if it's shareable enough, funny enough, sticky enough, everyone will have access to it. Before we leave this hall, everyone will have it on their phone. So they don't need you for content, to put their content out. So the question becomes, how do I make them need me? And that is the big challenge. Okay? The other thing to look out for is that you now have new distribution service providers. Your ISPs, your MTNs are in your business as well. Okay? New devices are coming up. Your phones, your iPads, streaming music. Kanye West just put out a new device to put out his music, bypassing what we thought was the more technologically adept platforms like Spotify and so on, and Apple Music. But he's come out with his own hardware. So there'll be more hardwares to come out in the future. Okay? So these are the four things that are affecting how content is distributed. And the other thing is, the internet service providers are also creating their own platforms. I spoke about that earlier on. Facebook has something called Facebook Watch. Instagram has its own TV platform. Okay? Maybe not as successful. YouTube, obviously, everybody knows YouTube is the biggest player in the field. Twitter is also doing that as well. Okay? So that's what's going on in the world. But here is my take. In all of these things that's happening, as you know, one of my favorite movies of all time, Casablanca, there's a line in it, there's a scene where the character playing the piano says the fundamental things will always apply. And the fundamental thing, as far as broadcasting is concerned, is the content. That is the content. But there's a lot of misunderstanding of what content means today. And I'll share with you. Any content that cannot be produced sustainably. So even the skit makers that do the skit, if they cannot produce it sustainably, it will die. Okay? And so there must be a virtuous cycle that's created between the creator of the content and how the content is distributed or monetized. It has to be there. Okay? And also understand that the content is varied. When you look at content, don't just look at it purely from the point of view of, for my TV, is either news or drama. No. There is the content around the contents that you create. So for you as a traditional platform, it's important that you have what we call an authority in the field. Because in as much as I have access to WhatsApp, to Twitter, to certain digital information, I might see the news, you know, a trailer fell on somebody at, you know, the junction. Okay, it's on WhatsApp. But if ITV reports it, there's a lot more credence and authority to that. So you hold an authority. And how you maximize that authority is what we're going to be talking about. And I think that is the key. In how you extend your authority in, you know, there's a lot more value now that's placed around not just the news itself, because anybody can report the news. In fact, I'll tell you this. Before you report the news, Nemeka, Dele, 1,000 other people have seen the news and have shared the news. So your goal is not trying to report the news, because the news has been reported even before you get there. How many reporters do you have? Versus how many people have mobile phones? You can't beat that. As NTA would say, you can't beat the reach. So what do you do? What you should do, in my opinion, is to report why, how, report on even the people who have reported it. So if Daily and Co. reported the news, you should report how they access the news, what it means to them. That is the junction at which you lend in your credibility and your authority as a broadcaster to the news cycle and to content itself. That way you have the authority. Because even if 1,000 delays have captured the news of the trailer falling at the junction, they do not beat ITV authority. Even if there's a picture to it, I can come out as a government and say it's fake news. And when you put it in context of the high level of illiteracy and lack of media literacy that we have in the country today, even something that is real, that is said to be fake, will be believed by a majority of people. That's another angle. We're not going to get into that. But so let me speak specifically of what's going on in digital before I sort of round up with a few ideas on what I think you should do. We already have, digital is already happening, as I said. It's happening, all of us with mobile phones, those of us with Go TV, those of us with Star Times, those of us with DSTV. So digital is already happening to us. I think that the difference of what we're pursuing from a government policy is how do we drive digital terrestrial TV to the majority of the population. Because as I say to people, you cannot switch off analog broadcasting until you've reached what I call a sustainable digital penetration, somewhere in the region of about 70 to 80% of our population. Either have connectivity or have access, because they're two different things. You can look at it from the point of view of access or connectivity. Connectivity means they're already connected. Access means that they can walk up to a fine shop and buy a set-top box or whatever. So these are two things. So, because if we do not do that, we will be further causing problems. As I said, we're living in an industry, we live in an age where a lot more people do not have access to information. And you might think access to information is purely entertainment, but it's not. If you lack access to where a snake bites you, to where the next health center is, you're dying. So it's a matter of life and death. If you do not have access to where they're selling the best price for diesel or petrol, that's a problem. It's a real life problem. So information is not something, because I hear it all the time, they'll say, Shebi is just these news people. No. More increasingly, in a digital world, information is actually the water, is the lubricant for our daily lives. And it's something that we must all, whether as a government, and I'm happy that the commissioner is someone who I feel understands it, it's something that we must not toy with. Whether we are broadcasters, whether we are consumers of broadcasting, is something that we must seriously interrogate. So the DSO opens up plenty of opportunities for all of us, new services, new content, better pictures, high definition interactive services, and all of that. As well as gives us the opportunity to maximize the spectrum that broadcasting is leaving to go to broadband, so that, you know, ultimately, and here is the dilemma. So the more you leave analog broadcasting to go digital, the more spectrum you leave to broadband, and the more broadband connectivity you have, the more problems you have with regards to how your own essence. So, I don't envy you, Elvis, but so what do we do to make sure that DSO works? One of the things we've tried to do is to be sure, and I'm glad that the people at the NBC are sticking to that, you must have clear, concise policy and regulatory frameworks with broad stakeholder involvement. This is very essential. You must also focus on the benefits of the new digital ecosystem. People must see what the benefits are before they agree, and I'm very happy that you're seeing it. Obviously, there must be effective leadership and change management in place. And lastly, funding, because without funding, all these ideas break down. But having said all of this, the key driver for me for digital remains content. It is content, not technology, content, that would drive the widespread adoption of digital television services. Also, I talked about this earlier, we also know that digital also ushers in convergence. So we're living in a world now where MTN provides video. So we need to recognize the challenges for that. So what do you do? Let me spend a few minutes. My time is up, but let me spend a few minutes. What do you do? Number one, focus on your existing strength. And your strength as an authority figure. Your brand has value. Build new insights. So the question, what you talked about, building your people, is key. Build new insights, new analytics, and audience measurement. You must put that in place. Not just to be dependent on what the federal government is doing, but you have the skill set within your own marketing audience measurement team to measure what kinds of programs people are watching. Okay? You must also innovate and take risk. Okay? But the last of it, really, is the understanding that the more we go digital, the more the essence of brand, the value of your brand as ITV has to stick out. As I said, that is the authority that gives you the means to determine the future for this brand and for any information that comes out of it. Okay? Without it, without focusing on your brand, every other thing is mute. So please, if you take anything away from all the stuff that I've told you today, is the fact that if you wish to rule successfully in this new digital kingdom, those who succeed are those who know how to build successful brands, who know how to tell stories. That is the key. So for you to remain relevant, you must embrace this digital mindset, because without it, everything you do will fail. I'm sorry to say it, but there is plenty of opportunities in this space, because you can do exactly the same thing that these other people are doing to you. You can do it to them. But the key here is understanding the strength of the brand that you have and willing to take risk. And I'm sure with the SMR, as knowing him, he loves ideas, he loves to put money behind ideas, and I'm sure you'll succeed. So having said that, thank you all, your excellencies. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Put your hands together for our first guest speaker today, Barrister Emeka Mba. We thank you very, very, very much. It deserves a standing ovation, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Shortly, we'll be going to our first set of awards, the Icons Awards, and we'll be doing a citation on the first awardee today. I'd like to get Sharon Ajayi to get ready for the citation. Thank you.
When I reach Jamaica, let us stop. Now stop to say I'm on my way. We will be back. I made it a day. I have things down. I started something around. We have to live for little girl.
Thank you, and the Louis in the Afro Jazz Masters. Just to give you the opportunity to allow all that Barrister Emeka give to us to percolate deep down. Please, let's celebrate our guest speaker today by putting our hands together for him. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going straight to our first set of awards, the ITV at 25 Icons Award. And the first recipient is also a first, being the first female legislator in the Black Ward, ladies and gentlemen, Senator Franca Afegboa. Please put your hands together for her. And let me welcome my colleague, Sharon Ajayi, to read her citation. Let's find a way to... No, just leave her there. Leave her there. The cameras are on her. And so we are projecting to the world. Sharon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny Dikokoto. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sharon Ajayi, and I'm here to read a citation on Senator Franca Afegboa, the first woman senator in Nigeria. Princess Franca Afegboa was born in Okbila, Edo State. She had a tertiary education in Sofia, Bulgaria. Prior to the beginning of the Second Republic, she worked as a hairdresser in Lagos, focusing on high-income clients. As an astute businesswoman, she recorded landmark achievements in her profession. In 1977, she won an international hairstyling competition. It is on record that her victory in the competition made her popular within her Isako community. Princess Franca Afegboa also had a close relationship with Joseph Tucker, who introduced her to his party, National Party of Nigeria, NPN. In 1983, when she announced her intention to make a challenge for a senatorial seat in a defunct Bender state, few gave her a chance. Ladies and gentlemen, Senator Franca Afegboa, first woman senator in Nigeria. A round of applause for her.
And I'd like to welcome Her Excellency, First Lady of those State, Mrs. Betsy Obaseki, to please stand forward and make this presentation to her. And then we'll take a response from her. So we'll all approach where she's seated. Can we bring her forward? Can we bring her forward so she'll be more visible? Would they say you should? Okay.
On behalf of Independent Television of Nigeria, Edo States, gives me great pleasure and joy and pride to present this award to you, Ma, as the first black female elected senator in the whole wide world, and an Edo woman. So it gives me a lot of pride to make this presentation to you today, and we wish you well. We wish you good health, peace of mind and joy, and let this award bring to you a lot of contentment and fulfillment in life. Congratulations, ma'am.
Congratulations. We would like you to just say something, distinguished Senator Franka Afebua.
I want to thank the First Lady very much and everybody that is here. And I say to God, I give you praise, honor, adoration. Thank you for everyone who is here too. Especially thank the First Lady. She has been very active. Thank you, Lord. Take the glory in Jesus' name.
Amen. Put your hands together for our distinguished awardee, distinguished Senator Franka Afebua, and of course our Edo First Lady. The next set of awardee will be we'd like to quickly call on the Chairman Managing Director of Royal Construction Limited, Bishop Dr. Matthew Okbewolo, accompanied by his beautiful wife, the recipient of the next award. He's coming to the podium, and I'd like to invite Ewosa Balaha one more time to read the citation. Okay. Ewosa, just hold on for a moment. Sharon will do the citation. Let's come on stage. Let's come up stage, please. Please come up stage, sir. Yes, sir. This way.
Again, I'm here to read a citation on Bishop Matthew Akaze Okpevolo. Bishop Matthew Akaze Okpevolo, born on June the 15th, 1950 in Uromi. He has carved a niche for himself as a clergyman and a business mogul. From a humble background in Uromi, he worked hard to become the Chief Executive Officer of Ray Royal Construction Company with its headquarters in Uromi. He started the company in 1970 and metamorphosed into Ray Royal Construction Company in 1976, went through the test of time, and rose to be a multinational construction company. He is a philanthropist with global recognition. For over 25 years, he has made funds available annually as research grants to indigent final year students from Edo State studying in tertiary institutions across the country. He has made cash worldwide. Here we have Bishop Matthew Akaze Okbevolo.
Thank you, Sharon. Please put your hands together as I welcome to the podium the representative of Edo State Governor Barrister Evanta Adaze to make this presentation to Bishop Matthew Okbewolo. Can we put our hands together for Barrister Matthew? Barrister Andrew Adaze. Bishop.
This Distinguished Industrialist Award presented to Bishop Dr. Matthew Okbevolo, the founder of Real Royal Construction Company, on the occasion of ITV 25th anniversary celebration by the ITV and radio family, dated 28 March 2022. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, yeah.
Congratulations, sir. And I'm sure we'd like to have a quick response.
Thank you very much. I thank you very much. I dedicate this award to God and to my beautiful wife. Coca-Cola and Fanta couple. They have raised five beautiful girls. Sorry, the girls are all married. Don't envy that. And one boy. We have been together for 50 years. By the grace of God, by August this year, we'll be celebrating our 50th anniversary in this race. Thank you very much, ITV. I want to say this again and again. To Esama of Benin, a visionaire, whom God used when men were not seeing road to set up this ITV that has gone around the world. I'm so happy that to associate with that man. He has a big heart and a man who can see tomorrow. So what we are enjoying today is the handwork of one single man. I'm challenging all the young men and young ladies in the house. There's no level you cannot get to. Start at a point, you get there. People like us started in a very little corner shop. Today, the company Railway has stayed for 52 years, and we are still counting. Don't limit yourself to a level where you are. There are more challenges ahead. Please, thank you very much. God bless you, the management and staff of ITV. I thank you for all your all the work you are doing, that the whole world is seeing what you are doing. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. Please celebrate Bishop Dr. Matthew Ahaze Okbewolo, MD, CEO, Railway Construction Limited. Please celebrate Reverend Dr. Matthew Ahaze Okbewolo one more time. Just one very few Nigerians who is a Christian through and through and is also a multi-billionaire. We used to have this wrong notion and wrong mindset that as a Christian you should be poor and look poor. But when you see and interact with Bishop Matthew Okbewolo, his life is a testimony that you can be a Christian, you can be a righteous man and be very wealthy and doing well in life. In fact, if you are a Christian and live that life, I mean, it should be seen in you the glory of God and the grace of God. And that becomes something that others should follow. Ladies and gentlemen, please celebrate Bishop Matthew Okbewolo. I mean, he just told us in August he will be celebrating 50 years in marriage. That's an accomplishment. And then to think that his business has been there for 52 years is also a testament of the fact that God is indeed involved in what he's been doing over the years. And it's no wonder his wife keeps looking younger. He described himself as a couple of Coke and Fanta. When you look at both of them, you know who is the Coke and you know who is the Fanta. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. We're going to the last ITV Icons Award. Is to celebrate another industrialist, the MD CEO of OE Technical Conglomerate. We'd like to have his citation, but it's ably represented by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, True Dreams Multi-Concept, who is here in dual capacity, also representing Apostle Gospel Ogbo, the General Overseer of Christ Apostolic Church of God. Please put your hands together for Deacon Dr. Leno Idehe to take this award on behalf of Sir Uyi Oloton, MD CEO of OE Technical Conglomerate. Please step up, sir. Please step up. I'd like to invite my colleague, Egosa Agbalaho, to do the citation on OE Technical. Please put your hands together for Egosa Agbalaho. Keep clapping until it gets here.
Citation on a distinguished business mogul, Sir Francis Omori. Sir Francis Omori Oloton, born in Benin City, was not born with silver spoon, but by dint of sheer hard work, he achieved success as an entrepreneur and businessman. He is the CMD of Uyi Technical Conglomerate with headquarters in Benin City. He is the founder of a number of business organizations, including investment in the hospitality business, sales representative of Kia Automobile, dealer and sales representative of various brands of electronics, which has provided employment for the youths. It is noteworthy that Uyi Technical became one of the most sought-after companies for quality and